Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to another designer versus designer show match. This time round, once again, we've got Fishman and we've also got AJ with us. AJ is going to be giving us a little bit of Arachne just to show off some of the latest design updates we've had to her in terms of her visuals, as well as Fishman, who's bringing along the newest god to the realm. His name is
Susano.
Susano. I am not going to get this one right first time, that's for sure. And so you're going to be talking to us a lot about Susano?
Yep.
Susano. I'm going to get it eventually, I will do. But so once we get into this game, we're going to see this time we've mixed things up a little bit. Instead of picking multiple gods each, they've now only got 4 gods on their side, but they're all the same. And AJ, you have, I believe, Neith?
That is correct.
On your team?
Yep.
And across the way, you have Sobek.
Got some lizard love.
Well, let's get ourselves into game and start this one off as these two get themselves prepped for this one between the two. Obviously, Susano just been announced today, and we're going to be having the fun in games of seeing it in action. And my, oh my, does this god look good, Fishman?
Really
You've done
like the way it
good
turned
work,
out.
my friend.
I can only claim so much credit. Most of this is our amazing art team. They really brought him out. He looks good.
First thing to talk about, clearly, is going to be his lore. What is Susano all about? Where does he come from, and why is he here?
So Susano is actually related to Amaterasu. She is his older sister. After their father goes into the underworld to try to bring back his wife, he washes himself, and he washes off, I think, one of his eyes, and that's Amaterasu, and then Susano is the nose. And because the nose is associated with a little bit uncleanliness, he's kind of an uncouth, rowdier younger brother by comparison.
So like Amaterasu then clearly has good awareness and good vision, however you have very good senses.
That's right.
What did you just do?
I just triple killed.
And
So-
here I am wasting time in the jungle thinking I'm playing Arachne.
It starts already. The game is underway. 3-0 already in favor of Fishman. So that's the basic lore behind him. And now, you know, obviously his sister's Amaterasu. He is the nose of his father.
He's washed. He's the cleansed water from his father's nose.
Okay.
And so one of his things is because he's kind of rowdy, he is a lot more upset than his sister is that mom's missing. Mom's down in the underworld. So, nice. So he actually whines a bunch and gets banished from the heavens.
Okay.
And then throws a bit of a fit on his way down. He goes and visits his sister, ostensibly to say goodbye on his way down. But he winds up like flaying one of her horses and throwing it at her looms and making a mess of her dining hall, and one of her handmaidens dies of shock. So not a great start for Susano in the lore. But once he goes down to Earth, he finds this old couple that's had to sacrifice their children, and he saves them from this 8-headed dragon Orochi by getting it drunk.
Okay. He gets a dragon drunk.
He does. He gets 8 vats of sake, and then he has it drink with all 8 of its heads. Woo!
This Neith is
So-
supporting me.
So Ao Kwong should be worried. Is that what I'm hearing?
Sure, yeah.
As well as Kukulkan, I guess. to an
But
extent.
Bacchus is good. Bacchus is good. He
Bacchus
brings-
is happy here.
Sure.
Him
Right.
and Susano will be hanging out in their free time for sure.
Yeah.
So a little bit more about Susano then. Is he an assassin? Is he a warrior?
He's
What
an
was that?
assassin.
Okay. And so what sort of playstyle are we expecting out of him? Is he like a backliner, a melee engager? It looks to me like he wants to be in amongst the action.
So the twist with Susano is that, unlike a lot of our assassins, we didn't want him to be able to 100 to 0 you. Instead, his style is more of a safe poke,
Okay.
so that he can kind of get in, do some damage, and get out safely, where other assassins would have to go in, be stuck there, and potentially die, but definitely take you with them first.
So a little bit more of a style of maybe a nemesis to an extent than what we've seen already, you know, with that sort of, she'll go in, she'll do some bursts, if she can stay on you,
That's
which
right.
is a possibility. She could 100 to 0 you, but more often than not, she's there for poke and setup more than anything else.
That's right.
Awesome. So tell me through the abilities first of all then of Susano. We've got the passive first of all, which I believe is a very interesting one this time round as well.
Yeah, so his passive is basically the more of his abilities are on cooldown, the faster he moves. And that originally started out the opposite, where he moved faster the more of his abilities were off cooldown. What we discovered was you really want to be able to get out once you've dropped some of your payloads, so we wound up reversing it.
Oh, okay. And then obviously we've got the one ability, which looks like it does a lot of things all in one. What was that? That was the ultimate, right?
That was the ultimate. The ultimate you can actually steer after you've started it. Oh, these are some dead Neiths.
Poor Neith. It's so hard to talk when you're trying to focus on the game at the same time. I had to completely understand. So tell me about the one first of all. What's it called and what does it do?
The one is Storm Kata. Kata is like a form. It's a series of motions, and that's exactly what he's got. He's got a 3-part attack. His first one is a cone attack, where he hits everybody in this 60-degree cone in front of him. Then he follows that up with a sweep, with a 360 sweep, and then after that he does a dash. His dash passes through enemies but does not damage them.
And that's all one ability.
That's right.
How long is the cooldown between them, like actually resetting off that?
I think he's got 3 seconds after firing any individual one of those to get out the next one.
Awesome. And then the 2 ability, what's that one?
The two ability is a Nemesis sweet spot cone with the center area pulling them towards you.
Oh,
so you can actually do an AoE pull on the enemies if they all line up in that middle area.
And if it's not in the middle area, it still deals damage though, right? But it just doesn't hold them.
And originally, during development, that started as it knocked back in the 2 outer areas and it pulled on the inner area. But what we discovered was when you have it trying to do that many things, when you're thinking about it, try to position it so it does all those things at once, and it wound up being more complicated to use. When we actually simplified it and just had the outer edges do damage.
And it's also a little bit punishing as well, I guess, in terms of the 2. In terms of like, if you wanted to push away certain people, if you actually misplaced it, you could have put yourself in a situation where you weren't going to find the kill or be able to help the team as much.
That's right.
What did you just say? So yeah, we got the pickups out there for Neith as well. This is 12 to 13. This one's a little bit more entertaining than the last couple, I think, in terms of speed of this game at least. But
All the extra bots is definitely accelerating everything.
That's right.
why don't you tell me a little bit more about the 3 then this time? Because I'm pretty sure I saw you teleport to it. Whatever it is.
Did in fact. So his 3, he fires a projectile. If he misses, it deploys a hit pulse, kind of like Kukulkan or Agni Dash.
Okay.
Just if you walk into it, it will do damage to you in an AoE. If he hits, that thing is actually attached to you. Either way,
Really?
he can teleport to the tornado.
Does it only stick to like one target, however, when it does that, or is it like 6 all the times? I'm just trying to work out how that would interact.
So it only sticks to one target.
Okay.
It's the target it hits first, it stops on, and it sticks to. If it is deployed, it doesn't stick to any targets.
And then you could just teleport to it anyway, even if it doesn't hit somebody for technically an escape or even an engage if needed.
That's right. You can throw it behind you in a similar fashion to Chalk's Axe, if that's what you want to do, and go in, engage, and then teleport back out to it for safety. Or you can use, oh, I see my opponent here has snuck the Bull Demon King.
Sneaky.
Arachne jungler extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Sneaky. But to be fair, you've been focused so much on talking to me, and poor AJ's been sat here like, well, he doesn't care about me right now and my Arachne.
I'm just over here looking good with my new Arachne, you know?
Susano's been... Susano. I'm going to get this name right one day.
Susano.
Susano.
You guys are still working on saying Amaterasu, right? So
I mean, we'll get there eventually.
I believe that you can.
We start calling her Amy nowadays, just for safety.
Yeah, Ami,
you know?
right?
Ami.
That's her unofficial nickname.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
that's
that.
what happens most of the time. So the ultimate Fishman.
Yep.
What's it do?
So what you might have just seen is I deployed it on me, and it acted as a vortex, similar to Poseidon Whirlpool or Hades Ultimate. And so it did a little bit of a pull, but AJ was able to get out of that. So what I did is I spun around to face him, because it actually fires in the direction I'm facing at the end of it, so that when it finished, after that build-up, it actually went and attacked him, even though he wasn't where I was originally aiming.
Awesome. So how long does that persist on the map before you can actually you're still able to fire it again?
I think it charges for 2 seconds.
Okay, because my thinking is like, okay, so I can drop my ultimate in one position, right?
Yep.
Teleport to a new position, look in a different direction, and then my ultimate comes flying across the screen at that person where I'm looking.
That's
and they're
right.
like, oh,
Now,
I didn't think that was coming.
It gets a little tricky to aim the further you are from it, because they're both kind of converging upon a point.
Yeah.
And that's not as easy to visualize in your head as just the straightforward, oh, here's where I am, I'm facing, therefore it will hit. But it's still doable.
He looks like so much fun to play. I think we're going to see him
is.
in multiple roles. And I think his wave play seems okay as well. So I think we may see some solo action out of him as well here.
Yeah, so the original constraint was I didn't want him to 100 to 0, and I thought that was going to hold me back as far as what I could do. But what wound up happening is actually gave me more opportunities to do other cool stuff, because his mobility would be difficult to justify on a guy who could come in, murder you, and then get out safely. But because he's going to have to engage a couple times, he actually gets a lot safer than other people in his spot would be.
So his current design at the moment, I mean, we've got this kit. Was there any other iterations of like these abilities that never made it to fruition? Like, was there anything that we thought about and then
Sure.
never
In
happened?
place of this 3 teleport, which kind of goes along with his poke style of you can just throw it out as a projectile, and it doesn't actually or it has a longer cooldown unless you teleport in to commit to it. We had instead a second dash, and the dash, what was interesting about it is you would ignore basic attacks while you were dashing. Projectiles, melee, it didn't matter. It would just ignore them.
We wanted to put an ability that kind of blocks or protects you from basic attacks for a while. So we tried it again, but we always find some reason where it can get a little sticky.
I mean, technically we've got Nemesis, which protects you and heals you with the shield, and you've got
Right, but that's from all types of ability. That's just
Yeah.
from all types of damage, as opposed to just actually deflecting or blocking only basic attacks.
which would be crazy. But I mean, I can see that why we thought about it, but it just never came through.
It just didn't fit his style as much. It's a perfectly good ability. We might see it
Exactly.
come back in a different kit. But
Don't
what
give
he
leaks
wanted-
like that. People will be like talking about this forever.
We
now.
tried it once, we'll try it again.
You
but
promised us this. You've promised us now. That's what they'll be
The
saying.
ability we replaced it with is way more fun and way more fitting to the character.
It looks
super happy
exciting.
about.
Once again, it's one of these abilities that looks very exciting to have to deal with in a team fight, especially because it's almost like a monkey throw that's better than monkey toss from Humbats. Because if it misses, you can still teleport to it.
That's
Whereas
right.
the monkey, you have the option if it hits something to teleport to it as well. So a little bit of a mixture between the two.
And from the other side, if I'm counterplaying against it, if he misses it, I can see where he's going to teleport to. I can see that deployable there, and I can even kind of camp that if I think he's going to be
That's
forced
true.
to teleport there. It gives you a really fun way to respond as an opponent.
I'm thinking about it even more. Even if you take it on purpose to make sure it's on you, you know where he can only teleport to. So you can actually be ready for him to teleport into the team fight. And
Yeah,
maybe
support could body
support
block
could body
it
block
really
it.
hard.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking straight away. He seems to have a little bit of cat play. Who's he going to struggle against, Fishman? Who do you feel?
So I would imagine that if he goes in against another assassin that can 100 to 0, that'd be something that he struggles with because in that engagement they're both going to want to deal damage and his payload's not going to be as high as theirs. Whereas gods who are less able to punish him for his in and out style, I think he's going to do really well against.
Okay. And AJ, obviously you must have played against this god lots of times during testing. I mean, did you find anything that worked especially well against him? Or?
Cripples. Cripples work
Oh.
very well against him. You got to lock Susano down. He's very mobile and he can poke a lot. He won't really necessarily out-damage you as another assassin, but ones like Thor and Serket that can really have good lockdown with their stuns or their
Yep.
ultimates, or gods with cripples can really help take Susano out of the match.
Giving some insight already. And how would you deal with that if you were Susano, Fishman, if you're getting crippled all the time?
Well, you can obviously, if you wanna use your beads for a cripple,
That's
a
true.
possibility.
That's true.
But I think really what you want to do is you want to plan your engagement around so that you are safe and get him to waste a cripple and then re-engage later with that high mobility.
Watch out for Ares.
Is
Yeah,
Ares
he's-
his biggest issue then, I guess?
He just has a lot of cripple to throw around with his chains
Because
all
that's
the
always
time. So.
that's always the thing when a new champion comes out, a new god comes out. Everyone always has issues thinking they're very strong because they've not worked out how to deal with
That's
them.
right.
And you know, this is a bit of an insight for him ahead of time. Now, I was like, listen, Ares is a good option. Cripples are a good option to try and deal with his mobility. Do we expect more of jungle or solo lane though? Is probably my question now, because I can see him in solo because his clear seems okay, but will his jungle be as effective? How's his ganks going to be? Do you think?
His one actually gives him a really strong jungle clear tool, so I would think that would be his primary role. I could be mistaken, but I think we're interested to see where players find him useful.
That's the best thing. Pro players especially, they're always the ones that will find niche roles for gods to go into that you wouldn't expect. Like some of the Guardians over in the solo lane, for example, or even some of the like mages in the support role we've seen on occasion as well. Manage to find the way out between the two as well. He looks way too much fun. I think that's the biggest issue I have with him right now, Fishman.
There are some gods that you get good feedback on early, and some gods that it kind of takes to the end before you get there. One of the things that we heard consistently from the playtest is he's a lot of fun to
Did you
play,
just-
regardless of how strong or weak he was at any specific time.
Well, the good news is, Fishman, you did manage to get that, but at the same time, I think AJ's abusing the situation.
Oh, did you
weren't
get
looking-
you get Fire Giant?
He did.
I don't know what you're talking about, AJ.
did.
My focus is entirely on lane.
I know you've been talking about your god a lot, and that's great, but I've pulled
Hey.
out some of our special design dev tools here. No!
It still doesn't work
I
against
didn't
Susano.
see the dev tools. What were?
I was
See-
I was moving fairly quickly there.
Oh, were you?
The difference is here,
The old
AJ,
ground speed hack.
and Susano is very, very good with high mobility. So, you know, he's already got that mobility as well.
Yeah, I
Perfect on
tried
him.
to outmobilize, and I lost track of him for a second there, and he just took me out.
I mean, that will happen with assassins.
Yes, it will.
You don't want to get surprised.
So, build-wise, what would you expect to see on him? Is he all about on-hit effects? Is he any of his kit allow on-hit effects at all?
Not to
or-
brag, but our new Bloodforge seems
Oh.
to fit him very well with his in and out style.
Speaking of, I'm going to buy that.
Yeah,
Excellent. Well, he's already got,
picked it up as well.
He's already got
so.
one as well. And for those at home who don't know about the new Bloodforged, it is going to give you extra mobility once you get a kill on it as well, which is kind of nice for getting in and out. And I guess an assassin like Susano would love it, but it looks like we may actually get...
Stop the
No,
Sobex.
The Sobex get it?
I was going to say we're going to get a victory. Are we? Sobek for the win?
They're,
Come on,
they,
Sobex.
to the box.
I believe.
they all have Magi's. I can't lock down any of them. They're all
the same build. The
They've all
genius.
got sovereignty, so there's and Heartward.
I don't think it's going to end just yet, so we've got one more attempt, I think.
It's really close.
On the biggest win, but fantastic of you to actually come out once again and show us.
got
There
it.
we go, they did manage to do it, but thank you so much for showing us that, Fishman.
I'm glad the Sobex had my back because his victory screen is probably
get to
the
see
best
it?
one
It's great.
we have in the game. It's
Artists
a
really
new
outdid
tech.
themselves
They
on
stepped
this
it
one.
up. It is so good.
Okay,
So I'm
well,
really happy we get to see that.
We'll close this out then with just the victory screen. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed the latest god entering the realm of the gods, and we'll see you all next time with another designer versus designer.
Thanks, guys.